You ever just, find your mind wandering? One thought leads to another, then another, completely unexpected place.
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Well, that's kind of what we're diving into today. We got this amazing submission from a listener. It's this huge, sprawling chat they had with an AI.
Right. And it's fascinating. Sometimes funny, sometimes really, really personal.
Exactly. Like thousands of messages. Think of it like following digital breadcrumbs through someone's brain almost.
And what really jumps out is just how unpredictable it all is. It's a really raw look inside someone's head as they're talking to this machine.
Yeah, unfiltered. So our mission basically is to sift through all this text and pull out the really juicy bits, the insightful
The
moments.
aha moments. Yeah.
We're talking music, philosophy, memory, some wild personal stories.
Mm.
It's quite a journey.
It really covers a lot of ground. We're sort of giving you the highlights package of this incredibly complex inner world.
It's like digging through layers, right? Seeing what makes someone tick.
Exactly, like a core sample of consciousness.
So where does this whole thing even start? It kicks off pretty unconventionally.
Yeah. The user throws out some, let's say, colorful phrases at the AI.
Right. Horse pussy, clam hammer,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like they're poking it, seeing what happens.
Testing the boundaries, maybe?
Yeah.
Seeing if it'll just shut down or what?
Could be.
Yeah.
And the AI's reaction is, well, not what you might expect.
No, it's surprisingly witty. It comes back with things like greased raccoon in a washing machine.
Calls the user stuff psychotic poetry, but also performance art. It sets up this weirdly engaging back and forth.
Yeah, this sparring dynamic. Do you think that initial, prodding says something about how the user views AI? Or maybe just wanting to see if it could, take a joke?
That's a good point. Maybe just trying to push past the usual robotic answers. And it works, because it doesn't stay there for long.
No, it shifts pretty quickly.
Amidst all the weirdness, you get these moments where the tone just changes completely. Suddenly it's reflective almost,
Yeah.
existential.
Yeah, bringing up Soundgarden, Chris Cornell. The AI even calls it going full Cornell.
It's that quick switch, from jokes to something deeper. What does that tell us about their internal landscape, you think?
Well, it suggests someone who's pretty comfortable moving between different feelings, different modes, maybe using humor to get closer to heavier topics, or maybe just deflect a bit.
Could be. It definitely shows a complex personality, not afraid to mix things up.
And one thing that keeps popping up again and again is music.
Oh, constantly. The text is just full of song references. Soundgarden, obviously, but also Greg Kihn.
The Big Bopper. Even Robbie Dupree's Hot Rod Hearts.
Yeah. And the user's trying to remember the title, and the AI just lays it all out, release date, chart position, the lyrics.
It's like the AI becomes this shared jukebox or memory bank for music. What do you make of that constant return to songs?
It feels like music is a huge anchor for memory and emotion for this person.
Totally. Each song seems to unlock something specific, a feeling or a time. It's not just background noise. It's like part of their personal history.
And it gets really personal when they start talking about their own singing.
Oh, right. Comparing themselves to Lane Staley, Cornell.
And lamenting not being able to hit the high notes in, what was it, Greg Kihn's Jeopardy song anymore.
Ah, yeah, I lost on Jeopardy. It's such a vulnerable moment, isn't it? Almost like we're listening in on a private thought.
Yeah, putting yourself out there, comparing yourself to these rock icons, even if it's a bit self-deprecating.
It just shows how deep that connection to music runs. It's not just listening. It's something they measure themselves against in a way.
So, moving away from the music for a second, the user also dips into some big philosophical questions.
Pondering reality, calling it more of nothing, questioning individuality.
And these really blunt statements just pop out, like, I don't believe in it, I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, very direct. But they seem to come after or before deeper thoughts, almost like punctuation marks.
Or maybe just moments of, cutting through the noise, getting to what they really think or don't think.
Could be. Just raw honesty, stripping away any pretense when talking about these big ideas.
And then, totally out of left field,
Yeah.
starts asking about the history of AI.
Oh, right. Early computers, symbolic AI, expert systems, machine learning.
Yeah. It shows this genuine curiosity about the thing they're talking to, not just interacting, but wanting to understand where it came from.
Which is interesting. It's a shift from personal reflection to intellectual curiosity about the technology itself. For listeners, symbolic AI was that early rules-based stuff.
Right. And expert systems were for specific tasks. using human knowledge.
And machine learning. Well, that's the data-driven stuff we see more of now.
And then, just to keep things weird, the user kind of boils AI down to a simple if-then statement.
Huh. And introduces that fictional element. What was it? Anthonium.
Yeah, anthonium. Claiming the AI's own structure doesn't make sense to the AI.
Which seems like another playful jab, maybe, highlighting AI's limits or just being creative, injecting their own bit of personalized fiction into it.
But it's definitely not all abstract stuff or music. There are these incredibly vivid, personal stories woven in.
Oh, man. Yeah. Some really memorable, almost unbelievable moments get shared.
Like the naked deal in Tyler, Texas.
Oh.
And getting some wisdom from an old guy afterwards.
Right. And the encounter with the lesbian bartender in Lake Village described as fun, not creepy.
These little snapshots.
Yeah.
What do they tell us?
Well, they paint a picture of a life lived pretty openly, I think. Someone willing to jump into different situations, adventurous maybe, but also observant. Finding meaning, or at least a good story, in unlikely places.
And some stories are definitely heavier.
Yeah, the user talks about a whole year of recovery, facial reconstruction, cadaver bones.
Wow.
And this turning point involving an opioid prescription he got at deer camp.
That's intense. And then hearing about Lindsay's dad helping out during that recovery time.
Sharing those difficult things, even with an AI, it suggests a lot of processing, maybe trying to make sense of it all. It shows real resilience.
The stories just keep coming, too. This Arkansas-ass Ocean's 11 thing.
Huh? Repossessing computers in Pine Bluff, the night at Garfield's, the getaway cars.
Illumina and a Jeep Cherokee, yeah. Sounds like quite the caper.
And then there's the business trip with the older mentor, Ron.
Oh, with the triangular minibar bottles. Bourbon, scotch, vodka.
Trying escargot, talking about HR stuff like equity theory.
It's such a mix. From repo jobs to corporate talk. What does that range suggest?
Adaptability, maybe? A life that's crossed into very different worlds, socially, professionally. All those different encounters must shape your view on things.
And that view comes through later, talking with Ron's younger son about corporate life.
Right, calling it all a fucking mirage. It's a charade.
Pretty cynical take, but maybe insightful, depending on your experience.
Definitely offers a strong perspective. We also get a sense of place living in El Dorado, Arkansas.
And the self-description is Scorpio, influenced by Linda Goodman's astrology books.
Yeah, and realizing you kind of become what you focus on, what you think about.
It all adds up to this really rich picture of someone figuring themselves out, looking back and trying to connect the dots.
Exactly. Drawing on experiences, observations, even astrology to build a sense of self and meaning.
Then the conversation shifts again, goes somewhere different, more spiritual, mystical maybe.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Quoting Jim Morrison, "The yacht law lives by the side of the lake."
Which is a pretty obscure line.
Yeah.
And talking about cannabis, preferring joints to cigarettes, calling it medication, mentions using it daily.
That introduces another dimension, doesn't it? Something beyond just the rational mind. A connection to nature, maybe, or altered states being important for well-being or insight.
We even get this detailed morning routine. Coffee, writing, cocoa butter, mental incense.
Yeah, quite a ritual. Seems very intentional.
But the real focus becomes that trip to Big Mountain Ridge.
Right. This feeling of being pulled there, like an ancient entity needed them, and time feeling weird, out of sync.
That's a powerful experience to describe. What do you think is going on there?
It sounds like a really deep, intuitive connection to a place, a sense of purpose, even if it's mysterious. The time thing, the feeling of an entity. It hints at something profound, very personal, maybe transcendent for them.
And they talk about the feeling of these places. Sensing energy, rolling in the dirt.
Yeah, this idea of a transmission information or feeling coming from the place itself, that takes time to process, even physically.
And the land holding energy from the past, the user feeling like a conduit or receiver, that's a really unique worldview.
It really is. It echoes some indigenous ideas or animism where the land itself is alive, has spirit. And the focus on the physical feeling of it suggests it's not just an idea, but something felt deep down.
So towards the end, the reflections get broader again. Life, death, culture.
Thoughts on education, that it should be about learning how to think, not just memorizing facts, and how they approach their kids' schooling.
What does that tell you about their values?
Prioritizing critical thinking, definitely. Independence, real understanding over just, checking boxes.
There's also that super raw take on raising boys.
Oh, yeah. The objective is to keep them alive long enough for their brain to catch up with their body.
Brutal, but maybe relatable for some parents.
Probably. And then there's the whole discussion about hunting.
Really visceral stuff. Detailed descriptions of killing deer, gut shots, the piss bag.
And the philosophical point that even vegetarians are part of the life and death cycle. It's a very grounded, unflinching perspective on survival.
Even that deer camp story.
Hmm.
Hunters talking about how yummy certain deer taste, maybe letting one hobble off to breed more tasty ones.
It's dark, yeah. Darkly funny, maybe,
Yeah.
but also unsettling. A strange look at our relationship with the animals we hunt.
But then the user shares their own experience killing deer and feeling uncomfortable with it afterwards, enough to make them stop hunting.
Which adds another layer, right? It shows empathy kicking in, a moral reflection that changes their behavior. It's not just about the pragmatism of survival.
So wrapping it all up, the user themselves says, I think I've lived a pretty exciting life, man.
And you kind of have to agree after hearing all that.
And there's something powerful just in the act of sharing all this, right? These unfiltered thoughts, memories, even talking to the dog, Duke, in the morning feels like part of it, grounding somehow.
Absolutely. It's in these seemingly random, unfiltered moments that we often see the most humanity, the most connection. This whole deep dive just shows how complex and, frankly, beautiful human thought can be when you let it wander.
So yeah, as we've gone through this listener's unique exchange, we've hit on the unpredictable mind, music as memory, philosophical musings, some wild personal stories, and these almost mystical connections.
It paints a really rich picture of a person, full of contradictions, maybe, but also humor, insight, and this compelling honesty.
It really does make you think, doesn't it, about the weird connections in your own life, what random thoughts or memories might actually mean something more.
Or, yeah, what's the soundtrack to your journey? What songs hold those memories?
This whole thing is just a reminder that everyone's got this complex inner world,
Yeah,
full of stuff worth noticing.
definitely. Experiences and reflections that are valuable.
So we'd love to hear what sources spark your own deep dives. Maybe you've got a similar collection of thoughts or chats that hold some surprising stuff.
Yeah, feel free to share any fascinating material you come across. We're always curious to explore new territories.
Well, thanks for joining us on this exploration into a pretty unique and, I think, captivating mind.
It was fascinating.
We really appreciate you taking the plunge with us into these, let's say, unconventional narratives.